And welcome to Kickin It with Sensei. And today we're joined by Sensei William Christopher Ford, probably best known for his role as Dennis in the Karate Kid 3, and also the 52 Masters YouTube series has been running recently, which has really spiked my interest. It's a great idea, Dennis, what you've been doing. Or sorry, I've called you Dennis now, but
I guess my acting was so good in that movie that people were like, "Oh my God, it's Dennis."
That's it. I've just watched the movie today again, and just because I was having you on today, and I just thought I'll just watch the movie back, and
okay.
So it was a lot of fun watching. I haven't watched it in about 4 or 5 years now. So,
well, you said that you got involved in martial arts because of Karate Kid. Is that right?
I did, yeah. Well, I was only 4 when the first Karate Kid movie came out, I think. So
okay.
And so it was kind of when I was about 8 or 9, I started to get really into the Karate Kid movies, and then started to look for martial arts. And here in Ireland, there wasn't a lot at the time, so I ended up boxing.
Okay.
And then progressed into kickboxing, and from there found jiu-jitsu, and I've been doing jiu-jitsu for about 20 years now.
Oh wow, that's terrific. Well, I feel that I come from a traditional background, but I'm not bound by my tradition. I still teach my original art, which is Okinawan Shorin Karate.
Yeah.
But I've also ventured into boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling. And I believe that those are kind of like the pillars of it. To be a successful MMA fighter, you need to have a good ground game with either wrestling or Jiu-Jitsu. You need to have the striking with, boxing and kickboxing and Muay Thai. And there could be a, karate style, maybe like Kyokushin or somebody, there are karate stylists in MMA, such as Yoto Machida, who comes from Shotokan.
George St. Pierre's another one, I suppose.
Oh, yeah. So, and what I like about the traditional arts, too, is that it does give you, a base in, I think, respect and self-control, things like that, honor. At least it's supposed to be that way.
Yeah, so that's it. I always find it useful to learn one art to start with and get really in depth into it, and then build your knowledge through cross training as you know, even if you just train till you get your first Dan black belt or whatever, and then from then find your own path and not only develop yourself, but develop your system and your students through your own training. So would that be something that would have inspired you to basically do the 52 Master Series? You've trained with a lot of masters.
Since Emmett, what I always like to do something every year that kind of commemorates either my birthday or something that has to do with raising money for a charity. I've been doing St. Jude Children's Hospital for many years.
Cool.
And I always like to have sort of a catchy number or a catchy title, and it just has a hook, right? So the first time it was back in 2014, I did a fundraiser for St. Jude Children's Hospital. And when I say I mean we I couldn't do it by myself, but we came up with, okay, I've been doing, at that time, I was doing martial arts for 40 years. And I said, let's do something called 40 rounds for 40 years, where we celebrate my 40 years of being in the martial arts. And I'll do 41-minute rounds, sparring rounds with 40 different individuals who want to beat me up, And I got this idea from a gentleman who is one of my mentors named Perry Bozajak. He had done something similar where he did 50 rounds when he turned 50 years old. And, Vinny the Jet Urquidez was his corner man. And so I was inspired by that. And I thought, well, you know what? That would be great if we did this as a fundraiser. And it ended up being about 80-something people, because all these little kids, my students, wanted to beat the hell out of me too. So, and, nobody was, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 people who were trying to hurt me. There were a couple of people that forgot it was for charity and were trying to really light me up. But so ever since then, I've been trying to think of like, okay, what can I do this year? What can I do this year to kind of celebrate? And, when I was 51, I said, I'm coming up on 52. And I think 52 is a significant number because it's the number of years, number of months in a year, 52 cards in a deck. And let's come up with a catchy title. And okay, how about 52 really good experts? And, it's like, nah, that's terrible. It's like, well, 52 masters. And it's like, well, that's catchy. And the idea was, let's go train with 52 different experts and then sit down with them afterwards. And let's just talk over coffee or whatever And they can talk about their martial arts, they can talk about their lives. And you know, I found that to be very inspiring. And I, as a fan of the martial arts and a fan of these people, you know, it was just what a great treat for me. And I was able to find a camera crew and a director who are just friends of mine who are just excellent at what they do. And they're like, we like this idea, let's go for it. And, you know, it just started off as a little small internet project, you know, for YouTube, 15 minutes or so. And I didn't know how far we were going to take it, but eventually the episodes got longer and we got some pretty, you know, everybody that I've interviewed has been great, but some of them are a little bit more well-known than others. And eventually it got picked up by Amazon, you know, so it's out streaming on Amazon, 10 episodes, and we're going to do a second season soon. And it's just been a wonderful experience. I've learned so much. And what I love, because the show's not about me, it's about my journey, but what I love is being able to share with people, hey, look, there's this master, and look what she's doing, and look at this style, and I learned something, and maybe you can learn something too. Yeah. So, you know, that's how you found me, right? You commented on one of my YouTube videos, and I was like, hey, I would love to be on your podcast, and here we are. So that's kind of the story of 52 Masters, and we're not even done yet. We're like halfway there. So
one of the things I liked about it is you've actually caught up with a lot of the old Karate Kid cast going through the 52 Masters,
yes,
people that have trained, such as Sensei Ron Thomas. And
yeah, the running joke is with Ron Thomas is that, you know, whenever he sees me, he's going to mess up my neck, you know, because he knows how to do all the pressure points and all the chokes and everything. And, you know, he is a super nice guy, but just supremely talented and knowledgeable, very humble. Yeah, loves his family. You know, his wife is a cancer survivor and his daughter is just adorable. And I've really enjoyed getting to know him better. He's got like a lot of great stories about the original the Karate Kid movie, as does Sensei Daryl Vidal, also a legitimate martial artist. And we had a good time sparring, you know, light sparring. You know, it wasn't like we were trying to kill each other. It was like just like kind of moving around a little bit, you know, as you saw in the last episode. And I'm going to be spending time with him and Sean Kanan tomorrow on a Zoom call, you know. So we're going to be doing kind of a meet and greet tomorrow. And those two gentlemen, Sean and Daryl, you know, are good friends of mine, and they always look out for me, and I look out for them.
So. Funny, those three guys have actually emailed the three of those about coming onto the podcast as well. So,
well, great. I will. If you haven't had any luck with them yet, then I'll put a bug in their ear. You know. So
Sean emailed me back today now, so I'll have to see if we can arrange something around that. But I'm still.
Sean is a super nice guy. He's nothing like the character he played in the in the movie. You know. So he's super nice guy. Good actor, and I think he was well suited for that role.
Yeah, and. From the original cast of the Karate Kid, who do you think was most like their character on the movie?
From the original movie?
From the original movie, yeah.
Let's see. Are you talking about like the main characters or?
Yeah, the main characters are. It's.
You know what? I'm gonna say Ron Thomas's role is Bobby Brown because, as you recall, in that, you know, of the Cobra Kai, he was kind of the compassionate one. He was the one that said, hey, leave him alone, Johnny, he's had enough. And you know, Ron is a good guy. A lot of the people were you know, like William Zabka, who plays Johnny, you know, he's a super nice guy, you know. And as this Cobra Kai series is revealing, you know, these characters have a lot more to them than we originally thought. You know, they've really done a great job of them dimensionalizing it. And it's like, well, wait a second, Johnny is really not that bad of a guy, you know, and you get to see them as I think as more three-dimensional human beings. But I would say Ron Thomas is probably, you know, I think he's pretty close to what he played. Daryl is Daryl. He's, you know, he played a good guy, but, you know, he was a phenomenal martial artist in the movie, and he is a phenomenal martial artist in real life. And I will say that Ralph Macchio, my experience with him was very pleasant. He was a professional. He's actually kind of a quiet guy. You know, regular guy, shows up for work, is professional. Never saw him mistreat anybody. You know, not a real martial artist, really, but I think he works really hard, and he's a very good actor. Very very engaging, and I love watching him work.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes I've ever heard Ralph say was, "He's never trained karate, but he's the biggest ambassador for it." So
I would agree.
Yeah, definitely. Now.
Yeah. So you have kids, right?
Yeah, I have 3 kids. So
yeah, daughters.
All daughters. All daughters.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have 2 daughters myself. One is 22, and the other one is 9 years old. And another one of them do martial arts. They dabbled in it a little bit, but they don't have to be me. But I do want them to at least be able to protect themselves. So you don't have to have a lifelong commitment to it. But I think martial arts for self-defense is very, very crucial. How old are your daughters?
9, 10, and 15.
Oh, so okay. You have your hands full.
They have hands full, but they're all very into martial arts now. They've
excellent.
I started them all very sort of young on my own system, and sort of as they've got older, they've kind of found their own wee path to go.
Okay.
The youngest will be very into kickboxing, and then
very cool.
The middle one, 10-year-old, she's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu through and through. She just loves grappling, and the older girl still trains in the traditional jiu-jitsu, and she'd be very talented at it now. She's all the
gyms and the studios are shut down still.
Yeah, we've been shut since last March, so it's been a long time. I've had to take up a full-time job outside of martial arts just to make my ends meet, really. But I'm looking forward to getting back to it now and training. And
I hear you, and you got to do what you got to do. But at least you have a pod that you can train with. You're with your kids. It's at least that's pretty cool.
That's it now. But my big dream was actually to do what you're doing now, is go around and train with different senseis and different dojos, and I actually had a list done out of masters I would like to train with, and it was kind of, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And I started to interview a few of these guys, just thinking, well, if I can't train with them, at least speak with them. So I started to do these interviews, and it just kind of grew from there. And I was actually speaking to someone one day and said that I wished I could train with these guys. And they go, you have to go and check out William's YouTube channel. And I went on and just looked at the list of names on the 52 masters, and it was nearly identical to my own list. It was
Well, that's good. I have about 25 more people that I want to interview. I'll be honest with you. Some of them they're on my dream list. I'm just like, man, how do I get in touch with this person? Because GSP is one of my favorites. Ryota Machida is a friend of mine. I'm a good friend of his brother Shinzo, and I've trained with Shinzo. But he's living in Florida right now, so he wanted to do an episode, but right now he's just a little bit inaccessible. But Stephen Thompson. There are other people. Hickson Gracie is somebody that he's a jiu-jitsu legend. There are who I really would love to interview is a gentleman named Frank Grillo. Have you heard of him?
I've heard of him now. I don't know much about him now, but
he's an actor, a very good actor, and he also did something on Netflix called Fight World, which is it's kind of like 52 Masters but with a big budget, and he gets to travel all over the world, and so he goes to Thailand, and he goes to Israel, and he goes to Brazil, but Frank Grillo is a real deal martial artist also, but you got to look him up. But he's somebody that's on my dream list also. But other than it's not just the famous people. There are times when I'll interview somebody who's local here, who maybe nobody's ever heard of, but just I like the person a lot. I respect what they do. I think they're doing good work for the community, and I just want to give them a chance to shine a little bit. And you can learn from anybody. They don't have to be famous. So that's what's kind of what guides me, is like, it doesn't have to be like chasing the celebrities. Because sometimes the celebrities, not the ones I've mentioned, but there are a few that I won't mention that are kind of like, they just don't give you the time of day, because if they don't recognize you, or they don't think that you're that important, they just but there are some that like are great. but there are people that are just local here that, local heroes like yourself, who are, taking care of their families, doing good for the community, and they're doing good work. And that really interests me also, just talking to the common man,
That's it. Now, there's the guy that founded our system now in the 60s. It's been a hybrid system of sort of judo, jiu-jitsu, karate, kind of blended. There was two guys, karate guy and a judo guy, came together and kind of created this hybrid art.
Okay.
But one of them sadly passed away about 10 years ago. The other guy's still alive. He's 84 now.
Oh, wow.
But he's been training since he was 14, I think, 14. So he's 7 decades in martial arts. And he's reached 10th Dan in 3 different systems.
Is he still, does he still train?
He would come on occasionally now to the instructors to work with us, and he would teach the instructors.
I'm sure he can still handle himself.
Oh, definitely, well. Definitely. Now, it's quite nerve-wracking being Uki for him, because it would, you look at him, he's quite small and it wouldn't be quick anymore. But as soon as he puts a hand on you, you're in danger. And out of nowhere, there's pain throughout the whole body, and you're just trying to get loose. And it's unbelievable. But it's the one guy that I really want to get an interview with, because it's unusual to find someone that's 7 decades in martial arts and has dedicated their whole life to it. And
have you contacted him already?
I have now, but the whole technology thing's kind of putting him off about these.
Yeah.
But
some of the old school guys are a little like, I don't know how to do this, and I just want to talk to you in person, right? So I get that.
That's it. So it's maybe a matter of waiting until restrictions lift with COVID and sit down and have a discussion with them. But it should be very interesting.
There are one of my dreams is to I have not traveled to the UK yet. I haven't been to Ireland. I haven't been to England, but I have a lot of people who reach out from me from the UK, and I love the people and the martial arts. They're very passionate about that.
Yeah.
So if I can get a budget together, that would be my dream, is to take my cameraman, my family, and let's go and let's do a European leg of 52 Masters or a European.
That'd be great. You'd be more than welcome to our dojo if you wanted to come. So.
Oh man, I would be honored to be a part of that. Just to meet new people like yourself, and make new friends, and people who are doing positive things with the martial arts, For sure.
One of my favorites now from the UK would be Ian Abernathy.
Oh, I love him.
I
love him. He's so jolly.
Yeah.
And he makes learning karate so much fun because he's so into it. And I love that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I never saw that before. But, he's showing moves from the kata, and it's just like, that's brilliant. Yeah, he's one of my favorites too.
His insight on the kata it's out of this world. It's unbelievable now. He just has a totally different eye for kata than most. And
yes, sir.
He's changing the way it's trained, really. But
well, I've heard he's very open to being interviewed. I have a friend who is one of his students, representatives here in the U.S., who lives in Texas, and whose name is Chris Bomar. And Chris and Ian are very close. And he said, yeah, Ian would be happy to do a 52 Masters. It's just a matter of, I haven't done a 52 Masters yet that's done through Zoom, so we could do one, but it's just not the same of me, either going to the UK or him coming here, which right now, obviously we can't do. But yeah, he's on my list too. He's one of the people that's definitely influenced me and inspired me. And he's just so jolly,
He is. I had him on the podcast now, and it was just so much fun having him for the hour I was there. And I think
he's like he in real life, I've heard he's exactly like he comes across on the screen. Is that correct?
He is, yeah, definitely.
Okay, because one of the things is like when you meet somebody that you admire or you respect, and when they're just, oh my God, they were just totally the opposite of what you thought, you thought they were going to be really nice and they weren't. So it's always wonderful hearing that, no, that person really is a good person and they really are nice to people. So that it does warm my heart.
Yeah. I had a discussion recently about Billy Zabka, actually.
Okay.
We were talking about Billy Zabka and the Karate Kid movie,
Mm-hmm.
the original, and the Cobra Kai series.
Okay.
And we were thinking, is he really, in real life, very similar to the Cobra Kai series, where he's just a more laid back, kind of friendly guy that's just trying to get through life? And
my experience with Mr. Zabka, you know, I've met him in real life on a few occasions. Nice man, very, very cool. And, you know, I'm very happy for his success. I'm very happy for, you know, his ability to reprise the role and bring more dimension to it. You know, obviously, it's a very, very popular show. And I think that they've done some good things with it, especially in terms of the characterization. You know, that's what draws me is, you know, these characters, especially the characters from the original movies, when they sit down and they're talking about the old days, and then that to me is the goal of the series. That's what I enjoy the most.
Excellent. And I know you're based in Okinawan art.
Yes, sir.
And would you ever go to Okinawa or Japan to do a 52 Masters? Or
I've been to Okinawa twice. I do have interest in going there. I have a friend who is originally from England, but he's been living in Okinawa for years, named James Pankowitz. And he's a good friend of mine, and he would be sort of my ambassador to go to Okinawa again. And he knows everybody there, and he speaks fluent Japanese, and his Japanese is better than mine. And we would definitely love to do, you know, an Okinawan version of 52 Masters, or at least interview a couple of masters. So yeah, you know, I mean, and even when this thing ends and it's okay, I've done all the 52, I can always just start up something else, you know, do 52 Masters International, something like that, where I get to travel the world and interview people.
53 Masters, 54 Masters system.
I just hope it doesn't take me 52 more years to get this done. You know, I'll have a very long beard like Dumbledore, and, you know, I'll be interviewing people like, you know, all right, well, tell me how you got started. So I hope that I can get at least this first version of 52 Masters done end of summer, and then we can, you know, move on to something else. But we're halfway there, you know, and I'm grateful to people like yourself who have watched the show, who have supported the show, and I subscribe to your channel now, and I want to support you as well. You know,
thank you.
You know, you're doing a good job.
Excellent. And throughout the series of 52 Masters, have you had any favorite art that you'd like to practice, or something that was very new to you that you enjoyed doing?
I actually enjoyed. I enjoyed the Muay Thai. You know, I like the way that the kicks are thrown. I like the elbows. It's a lot of fun. I like that, and I find it to be very practical. I enjoyed very much working with a man called Ed Smith, who does a style of karate that it's all about power generation through physiology and movement, you know, and being able to use physics. I enjoyed that very much. You know, I enjoyed every one of these guests that I've had in their own way. But and I very much enjoy working with Benedict Arquires, you know, with kickboxing legend. You know, he is a teacher of teachers, and it was an honor to be able to work with him also. So I come from a traditional karate background, but you know, again, as I said, I'm not limited to that. You know, traditional base is wonderful. I still teach that to a lot of my kids, like, you know, my kids' students. There's a lot of good foundational stuff in there, you know, and as Ian Abernethy shows, karate can be very functional. You know, there's, you know, I'm a big fan of Jesse Encap also, you know, the karate nerd, and he and Brother Oliver. I'm big fans of them, and I hope to get them both on the show. But I like the stuff where you get to put the gloves on, you hit stuff, you know, and I like the combat sports feel of stuff, you know. One of the things I love about, you know, Shinzo Machida also is that We put the boxing gloves on. We've got pad drills, and that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's one of the things I miss now is competing and actually getting gloves on and going toe-to-toe. I'd done it a lot in my teens, but then as me and the wife started to have kids, she was kind of didn't want me coming home with black eyes and things like that. So as the family started, the competing stopped, sort of thing. But it's something I definitely miss in martial arts for myself now. I still spar, but it's just not the same as being in competition.
Yeah, there's something that really just gets you excited about competing, and there's a camaraderie where you go out there and the guy gives you a good fight, you give him a good fight, and then you hug at the end, shake hands, and it's like, hey man, that was good, and then you came out of it, win, lose, or draw, right? You did it.
Yeah, that's it. Now I always loved that. Now how you could basically beat the hell out of each other for 15 minutes and then go and have a pint afterwards, and it was kind of surreal, to be honest, when you look back on it, like how brutal the whole thing was, and then how you were very close friends afterwards. And I always joked that I met some of my best friends after they kicked me in the side of the head, but it's very true in martial arts.
There is a certain camaraderie and respect with that. It's like, I think I better be friends with this guy because he just really whooped me, and I'd much rather be his friend than be his enemy. I think that's where I'm thinking. Yeah. Let me buy this guy a drink and be his friend. But there's great people in the martial arts, and and I'm not saying, be stupid and go out and try to, seriously hurt each other. It's like, oh, sorry, I broke your arm or whatever. I'm not saying that, but it's like, hey, we had a good workout. We trained good. We trained hard. We trained safe. We have mutual respect for each other. And, we go and we're friends later, So, and I've started conversations with people. It's like, oh, you do martial arts? Oh, what style? And all of a sudden there's like, I'm standing there talking in the grocery store for 15, 20 minutes about martial arts, and it's very exciting. And it's what a wonderful thing, life-changing. I think everybody in the world should learn martial arts there's so many benefits from it. Yeah.
Oh, there isn't. What do you think is the greatest thing you've got from martial arts in life?
It's the idea of keep showing up and don't give up and do your best. And, pushing yourself to go a little bit beyond what you thought. And then it's like, okay, man, I didn't quite make it. Come back, get up, do it again. And it's that, and then the respect that comes with it, the humility, the self-empowerment, and the idea that really I can do this. And if I can do this in martial arts, then I can tackle this challenge in real life. Yeah. So I think it's something that's very, very empowering. And I love the fact that I can help other people empower themselves through the martial arts as well.
Yeah. I always find it gives you a great resilience as well when you're in martial arts, as in life kind of thing. You're so used to putting yourself out of your comfort zone and pushing yourself into stressful situations. So
yes, sir.
When you're hit with stress in real life outside of the dojo and that, you deal with it better. Mm-hmm. If it makes sense, you're more comfortable out of your comfort zone kind of thing. It's a great skill to have, a great characteristic. And
yes, sir, absolutely. What is the martial arts scene like in Ireland? I know that MMA must be very popular.
Yeah.
What is the landscape in regards to other styles, maybe more traditional, or
I'm living up in the very sort of north point of Ireland now, and up where I am, there's 2 Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu clubs and a karate club, and then our own. So it's very, very limited.
Okay.
Very limited now, and but I know there is a big Jiu-Jitsu following, and kickboxing have been other big, but it's very rural where I am, so there's not a lot happening anyway. There's either the martial arts clubs or football, and that would be the height of activity. So we do get a lot of kids coming into the clubs and things because there's nothing else for them to do, really. So they're either football or martial arts, and that's the 2. But there's not a lot of choice in traditional styles, really. Now but I think the setup of our own club now, because it's very influenced by judo and karate, they've kind of got a mix of both through it now, and we sort of promote them going and learning elsewhere as well and bringing it back, and we sort of from day one they're sort of encouraged to cross train and develop, and so it's very interesting kind of way of doing it, but it works really well.
Well, there's only so many ways the human body can move, and I just like to think of it rather than say, the different styles. There's just different ways to move. There's different ways to manipulate somebody else's body, right? Yeah. So, I just kind of put it all under one umbrella, and I don't say, well, that's this and this is this. It's like, yes, there's differences, but it's just a slightly different way of doing something. Okay, yeah. But it's all martial arts. So to me, it's all good. It's all the same. It's all fun.
That's it. Yeah, that's I always say to my wife, like I used to say I was a judoka back when I first started, like, and I said now I wouldn't. I would say I'm a martial artist, because I said I don't say that I'm in this style or that system, or it's just I train where I can, when I can, and just enjoy everything and just kind of develop myself. And hopefully I can use that to develop my students and make them better people in the future. And it's as you say, it's just an umbrella, and
sure,
just enjoy everything, and just learn your body, like, and learn how to use your body in its best way. And so,
how old are you?
I'm 35.
Oh, okay. You actually look younger.
I do. Like I get that a lot now.
You look like you're in your 20s, And so I was like, wow, this guy must have started really, really early, But you look, yeah. Almost like you need to show your driver's license, your ID to buy a drink. Like you look young, But that's a good thing.
Well, I don't drink, so I never need my license. So.
Me too. I'm not a drinker. So.
Yeah. It's unusual in Ireland now to find someone who doesn't drink, but there is a few of us.
Coffee is my my poison of choice. I'm a big coffee drinker.
Yeah, so. The same as myself now, but
all day long.
Probably a bit too much, but it's definitely interesting. And is there anybody you would like to get onto the 52 Masters series, or anybody that you have in mind that you haven't actually trained with yet?
George St. Pierre, Stephen Thompson, Jason Statham. I'm a fan of his. Dolph Lundgren, that's another one.
Yeah.
There is a boxer who's retired now. She's a friend of mine. I haven't met her in real life, but we have some sessions together.
Yeah.
Her name is Lucia Riker, and she was she's Dutch, but she was probably the world's greatest female boxer at one point in time. She's retired, but she has expressed interest in being on the show as well. So, and boxers too. It would be great to have some of the famous boxers. Love to have AJ on. Love to have Tyson Fury on. But those guys are a little out of my reach. But I consider boxing a martial art. It's not an Asian martial art, but it's still a combat sport. And I'm telling you, when you get that jab, in your nose, that makes you respect somebody really quickly. I was sparring with some young kid once, and he just had this lightning fast jab, and I just never saw it coming. And it was like bam, 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 and I'm just like, would you stop that? But some of those people that I've named, are definitely people that I would love to have on the show.
Yeah. There's actually quite a cool guy in California now. It's, as you were saying earlier about Ron Thomas with the pressure point stuff. It's a guy called Evan Pantazzi. I don't know.
Yes, I've heard of him. It's Kyusho, I believe.
Kusho, yeah, it's a very unique view on it now. He's kind of done away with this whole meridians and the kind of traditional Chinese medicine connection with it, and he actually looks at the anatomy. And actually,
basically, if you put this here and you push hard, it's gonna hurt. You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's very interesting. He actually researches all the nerves and the blood vessels, and he's actually quite a good setup with it now. I had him on the podcast a while back, and I can name every nerve in the body and where it lies and what muscles around it and how to access it, and it's an unbelievable system of learning.
Where is he based out of?
He's based in California now. I'm not sure.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
I'm going to look him up.
Yeah.
If you have a contact, maybe I can get that from you later on. And,
no problem. I'll
perhaps you can introduce me.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, definitely. But it's a very, very interesting view on it now. It's kind of very... He's had a lot of medical doctors and that actually do research with him and actually say the damage that will be done if you touch this nerve or if you stop this blood vessel. And it's kind of putting a lot of research behind the kind of the recent putting down of the pressure points that they don't work and all the rest. He's kind of really done the research behind it to prove that it does if it's researched right. But it's interesting. And,
that's very cool.
Yeah. And another person that I've actually wanted to get on the podcast was, as you were saying, boxing, was Katie Taylor, the Irish boxer. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she's, I think she won everything as an amateur.
Do you have a contact for her?
I've been trying to get in contact with her and can't. It's
no luck yet?
Not yet, no luck yet, but...
Well, keep trying. Sometimes it's just like, you know, sometimes you just got to bug somebody enough to where they're not, you know, get mad, but they finally notice you. So it's just like, oh, you know, so I'm always a little hesitant because, and I don't want to be that guy that just keeps bugging and bugging and bugging.
Yeah. Sometimes
that's what it takes. I probably should be a little bit more aggressive in that regard.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be that guy. You
know? The system I've used so far is I've just reached out, sent an email to anybody that I could, and if I hear back, brilliant, and schedule something. And if I don't bug too much. So but I have noticed there's been a few that have emailed maybe 6 months later to see if I could get them. And
yeah.
But yeah, it's surprising.
Well, they're very busy also, you know. I mean, especially active fighters, you know, they're training and, you know, touring, and, you know, well, maybe not so much now, but, you know, that's a busy lifestyle, you know. And so I get it, but sometimes it's just like, okay, you know, let's give it a shot, you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained, but I still feel, you know, a little hesitant. But I'm glad you reached out to me because, you know, I love talking to people like yourself, and, you know, I'd be happy to do it again. Yeah. Just let me know.
No,
you know,
definitely not.
Maybe when we're further along in the season and we've got some other guests that we can talk about. You know?
Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
Excellent. Before we finish up, I would just like to ask you one question. I know,
of course,
your own martial art now is Okinawa based and kind of will be very in line with the Miyagi-Do of the TV series. And you, as one of the original Cobras, would you be more inclined towards the Miyagi-Do camp or the Cobra Kai?
It's right in the middle. Because the philosophy in the Miyagi-Do is definitely something that I believe in. But I also think that you've got to look at, okay, what is realistic, you know?
Yeah.
And because I'm somebody who follows the rules, that doesn't mean that the bad guy is not going to follow the rules, no. You know? So you have to prepare yourself for what, you know, the bad guy is probably going to do. You have to think like the bad guy, and so you have to train. The way you train is the way that you're going to be able to respond. So yes, humility, respect, but you've got to be able to be aggressive when you need to be aggressive, you know, and you know, the action is always going to be greater than reaction. right?
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
sometimes it's like, you're in a situation where I'm trying to diffuse, I'm trying to, like, hey, let's talk this down. And then all of a sudden, the guy turns around and his fist clenches and he turns away and you're going, he's going to punch me, and that's like, rather than wait there and go, oh, he hit me. That's when he's like, well, you know what? I better go. So you have to learn when is it appropriate to be like, oh, so I think there has to be a balance between the Miyagi-Do and the Cobra Kai.
Definitely.
You go one way, then you become the bully. You become part of the problem. You go this way, it's like, yeah, that's great. Peace and love. I'm all for that too. But sometimes you just got to be able to punch somebody in the nose. Sometimes it's like, you know what, I'm cool if you're cool, but you come at me, you threaten me, family, I'm going to take care of business. That's where I am. And then you're probably the same way.
Yeah, well, my belief would be Miyagi-Do, for the most part, the kind of martial arts lifestyle and the respect and the discipline. But again, in a self-defense situation, it's definitely Cobra Kai mode and strike first, strike hard. And
I agree.
That would be my view on it now. So, but
and then we also have to be aware, aware of here in the States, and depending on what state you live in, you have to be aware of what the law is. So there is, it's been said that there's three opponents, right? It's you, the actual bad guy, and the legal system.
Yeah.
And everybody with their cell phone cameras, it's, what you do can be taken out of context. It can be a good thing and it could not be such a good thing. So we have to be careful, even if we're defending ourselves. It's like, well, Mr. Ford, you're a trained martial artist, but it's really necessary for you to do all that. So, and then you're thinking, well, actually, yes, it was, but we just have to be mindful of that, I think.
Yeah.
And I actually learned that little bit of wisdom as far as the three enemies, yourself, your actual enemy, and the legal system, from a man called Tony Flower, who founded something called the Spear System. So it's definitely somebody who influenced me in terms of his approach to self-defense as well. So excellent. Just want to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm with you, like right there, buddy. I hear you.
Excellent, excellent. And it was an honor having you on, William. Thanks very much.
Oh man, the honor was mine. Thank you so much, Sensei Emmett.
Thank you.
I feel like I've known you for a while, and I feel like we could be very good friends if we hung out.
Definitely. And I feel like I've known you since 1989, and Dennis.
Only 31 years friendship, Yeah. I want to thank you and thank your viewers. I'm very accessible. Anybody needs me, reach out. If I can do something, I'm happy to do it. As long as I'm able to. Yeah. But people who want to talk to me, all you gotta do is reach out, and if my schedule's available, yeah, I'm happy to talk to people and happy to help people out.
Excellent. And thank you for coming on again, and hopefully we'll speak again soon. And I will look forward to doing 52 Masters in Ireland and UK and throughout Europe, and hopefully we can meet up at that stage.
Well, when I go to Ireland, we're definitely going to have to hook up and say hello and hopefully do some training and, all that other good stuff.
Yeah, excellent.
Maybe I could get some training tips from your daughters, because they sound like they're pretty fierce warriors themselves. So
yeah,
I'll probably learn something from them.
Hopefully the masters of the future, I suppose. So that's
for sure.
Definitely. And thank you very much now.
All right.
Thank you now.